Greetings, everyone. It's Kat, and today we're talking about high vibrational and ethical magic and witchcraft. I know that is a mouthful, but we are going to dig into it. I recently shared one of my affirmation songs, and if some of you have known me or been with me for a little bit of time here, you'll know that I do love affirmation songs and affirmation music so much. And whenever I receive a download of an affirmation, I like setting it to some nice music. My preference right now is like R&B and neo soul. That's just really what I'm doing right now for my affirmation music. So I released one recently that was a white magic affirmation song / chant. And this was, I won't tell you what it is. You just go and watch it. I have a playlist on my YouTube, and it's got about currently 15 of my affirmation songs. Basically, it's enough to make an album. Go and listen to them. And I wanted to make a follow-up talk about this subject and what is white magic. So when we talk about what is white magic, then naturally most people want to compare it to what they consider black magic. I don't really care for those terms because black is not inherently evil, in my opinion. We subscribe evil to the word black for some reason. And, Malcolm X talked about that back in the 60s. But without getting into that, without going off into a tangent, I want to say that I'm going to refer to positive and negative magic. Or rather, white magic is being high vibrational and the other type of magic being lower vibrational and less conscious. I'll say white because of the light, okay? And just to give you a little backdrop history on me as a practicing medicine woman and a witch, I know that word has a lot of connotation that people don't really like, but it is what it is. I'm a natural witch, and I come from a line of seers and healers, and that's just what it is, right? So in my earlier years, I did practice what you would consider will be negative magic, in that when I say early, I mean young, right? I'm talking like 18 years old, 19. I didn't really know much about what I was doing. I just wanted results, right? So as you can imagine, of course, this was a love-based spell that I was looking to do. And there was someone who I was interested in, and that person was with someone else. And I decided that I was going to do a spell in order for that person to leave the one they were with and come to me, right? So, yeah, this is when we get into influencing the will of another. Okay, and so this is one of the number one rules that I now in this present time will not go against, based on experiences and lessons I've learned, okay? So the short of it, the spell worked temporarily. The long of it is that it backfired on me, okay? And I won't get into how it backfired on me. Just know that it backfired on me. So the 2 times that I did this type of spell work, it did not end well. I did receive an immediate result, but at the end, it did not end well. So that being said, I did begin to explore, as I became older and more mature, other avenues of receiving what I want. Once I began learning about the laws of attraction, about how to work with the universe and energy and the quantum field of reality, of infinite quantum possibilities, is when I began to consider myself a high vibrational magician or practitioner of magic, and a cosmic witch, okay, at one of the universe. So what we have here is that you're not going to be influencing anyone's will. You're not going to be inflicting physical harm or illness and things like that on people. Because, yeah, that's definitely happening in a lot of circles. And I won't say specifically, but if you know, you know. Especially in the South, okay, we'll put it that way. And yeah, a lot of us have been there. I've been there as far as having the knowledge on these things. I'm not saying to you that I've done these things. I'm saying I've had the knowledge of a lot of things that happen when you're just simply not aware that you can get what you want without going through it in the lower ways. So what I will say is, for example, when someone's doing, let's say they want to do a love spell or an attraction spell for a specific person. Okay, number one, that is, it's influencing someone's will. And number two, when you do this type of spell work, it's because you simply do not understand how to trust in the universe's ability to bring you what you want with harm done to none. There are so many infinite possibilities. Let's say you have this crush on, I want to say Jane or John, right? And you want them and you think this is the right mate for me and so on and so forth. When the universe, when God, whatever you want to call it, the higher power, when the Most High knows there is this other person that is ideal for you somewhere out there on the planet as well, and this person is better suited for you. But because you are so fixated on Jane or John, you're not going to receive the mate that is actually more compatible and more in alignment with you, because you're basically narrowing the door of possibility down to this one person that might not even be meant for you. When the universe knows that there's another person there for you. In fact, the universe knows that you have many soulmates that are compatible with you and aligned with you. That would be a better match than John or Jane. But because you're so fixated on controlling the will of John and Jane or Jane, you're setting yourself up for a limited experience that incurs karmic debt. I pause because I really want that to sink in. So you're doing two things against the laws of the universe. You will incur karmic debt. I don't care if you think you're going to get away with it. You're not, because everything is a mirror and energy is reflected back to you. Okay? It may not be reflected back to you in that situation, but the energy will be reflected back to you in your reality at some point, and you're going to incur that debt. So by learning how to work with the energy of the quantum field and the universe and the laws of attraction and manifestation, we can then begin to harness 0 point energy. This is where all creation happens. All infinite possibilities happen here. When you surrender and you have that trust, when you make a request to the universe, I would like these qualities or traits in a partner. Not a specific person, not John or Jane that lives over here on whatever Jackson Street. I want this person. No. I would like these qualities or traits in a mate. I am aligning with these qualities and traits in a mate. And then you're going to begin to visualize. And if you also are a person who enjoys working with the correspondences of the cosmos and the astrological correspondences, you can then even make it more powerful. Maybe you want to do this on a new moon. Maybe you want to do it on a new moon in Libra, which is a sign for love and relationships. You don't have to, but you can. And when you're working with these natural energies, you're also bringing in maybe a rose quartz crystal, which symbolizes love as well. And you're working with water for the subconscious. You're working with nature and the cosmos and the universal laws in order to manifest your partner, instead of trying to see if you control this other person over here and make them fall in love with you and stay in love with you. That's not the way to go. Okay. And like I said, I have been there, but I'm just telling you, it's not the way to go. So when you work with all of the other higher vibrational energies, you are then able to receive what you want, and in such an amazing way. And yes, you don't know exactly the how and the when. And this is the part that gets hard. You have to release that doubt, because doubt dilutes your manifestation and your magic. Once you get a hold of having strong intention and surrender, this is when you start seeing the beginnings of things coming into your life. And it doesn't have to be just about a love relationship. It could be about opportunities for your business. It can be about abundance, blessings, all sorts of things. So there's better ways to go about it than putting your bodily fluids involved in the situation and all of this other stuff that I know happens. There's a lot of stuff that happens using a physical material from another person in order to make things happen. And I will say that, yes, these things work, but they work at the detriment to the caster. And when you learn that you can get stuff out of life without going through all of that shit, life changes. Okay. So I have an ebook program on quantum magic. If you go to my Patreon, www.patreon.com/I am joyful healer. There is a download there. You can instantly download it and you can learn more about quantum magic. It's a really great ebook. I suggest you, if you're really interested in exploring this, outside of just what I've just said, it's very detailed and will definitely be able to get you started in a better way as far as getting the things that you want out of your magical workings. I also have a YouTube video that's currently there if you want to watch, and it is a protective jewelry tutorial for making amulets and talismans. Again, working with the natural elements and working with energy in order to create jewelry that works doubly as protection. I personally love working with nature and natural elements for magic, as well as energy, as well as astrological correspondences. I incorporate it all because all of it combined creates a very powerful magical working. And all of this is completely natural. Our ancestors knew about these things. I also have another YouTube video on American Indian astrology, which is really interesting if you are interested in learning more about that and working also with the cosmic forces astrologically based on indigenous way. Check that out as well. That's free to watch right on YouTube. This is what I like to do, people. I love to share information that can help you to live a higher vibrational lifestyle. And this is my passion. Everything I do and share on these platforms is my passion and my purpose. So when we are working with quantum magic, we first have to understand what is the quantum. The quantum is basically how do I say this in a down-to-earth way? Everything within this universe, this physical universe, And I'm not even talking about the multiverse as a whole other field, okay? Within this physical universe with its present physical laws and physics, we are the observer of whatever it is that we are experiencing. Things exist when we observe them. One or more person observing creates an actual reality. You can create one on your own, or you can co-create. So since everything is based on light, and light is information, once we focus our intention via information, via visualizing things and intention with our energy, then we can tap into this quantum field of infinite, alternate experiences. And we can pick and choose, just like a game, what it is that we want without limitation. Remember, the universe, the higher power, knows things that we don't hear in these little tiny human bodies on this little tiny planet. The universe or spirit or the creator knows the best way possible to bring to you what you desire in ways that you could never even imagine with your own brain. And this is the tapping into the magic of the higher intelligence working with you. You don't know, but universe knows. And knows that there are endless ways in which to bring you the things that you desire in the most effortless and smooth way. Whenever I want an outcome for something in my life, I always pray for the smoothest, for this to happen in the smoothest way possible, in the way of the least resistance possible. And operating this way magically is also least resistance. You're surrendering to the flow of the universe, knowing that it's already yours, without having to doubt, without having to figure it out with your mental capacities, with your mind, because that will just send you into an overthinking mode that will dilute your magic. So learning how to work with the quantum field and working with energy is a game changer. And once you begin to see the results of working quantum magic, you won't really have a need to do any of that other stuff anymore. Also, let me not forget, talking about protection again, when you are operating out of a high vibrational space energetically, you are divinely protected when you're this deeply connected to the divine. I'll say that again. You're divinely protected when you're deeply connected to the divine. So when you are in this sort of energy, those spells and that work that people are throwing at you literally can't reach you, because God or the universe itself is protecting you. Do you think any of that spell work can beat God? Oh, silly, silly, silly one. No, it can't. It can't. If the divine creator of all decides that that energy can't reach you or affect you, that's what it is. They can be doing their spells against you all they want. The only thing that's going to happen is that going to incur that debt, and that energy will be received back to them. That's none of your concern. However, I do understand the mechanics of defensive magic and keeping my energy pure and my energy clear and keeping my space shielded up in a way that love and light energies can be present, but nothing else can reside in this space. Because when you make the intention that no lower vibrating energies or entities can reside in this space, and you say it with conviction and with the assistance of the angelic realm, the assistance of your higher vibrating guides and protectors, that energy cannot exist in a higher vibrating field of energy. It could try, but it literally dissolves it. It disintegrates it. Why do you think there's no, fallen angels in the celestial realm? They literally can't exist there. They have to exist in the lower realm, in the three-dimensional plane, where quote unquote evil has been given permission to experience itself. So learn how to cultivate first the raising of your vibration. Learn how to work with energy in a positive way. Learn how to work with protection magic in a positive way. This isn't about feeling better than anyone or being a goody two-shoes or saying, oh, I'm a white witch. And no, because at this point, I have integrated my light and my shadow. Notice I didn't say I transcended my shadow. No, I've integrated it. So I am both light and dark. However, I choose not to put negative energy out into the universe because I want to receive blessings. I don't know about you, but I want to receive blessings in life. I don't want to have bad luck and be getting sick and going through all of this because I'm receiving bad energy that I put out. That's not good. How not smart is that? It's not smart, and it's for the ignorant. And I was once one of those ignorant people, so I'm not here just like saying, oh, you're ignorant if you do this type of magic. I mean, I am, but also like I understand because I've been there. But I'm here to tell you, if you don't want to do this type of stuff anymore and you want to find alternative, better ways for working with your magic, then I just ask that you consider thinking about it. And then when you try it, notice how you feel. Notice how things start going better for you, and then more alignment and more blessings start to pour into your life. I'll leave this video like this. Once again, check out my download on my Patreon for quantum magic. Check out my YouTube video for protective jewelry making, amulet and talisman making. There's also another YouTube video on defensive magic and ethical witchcraft. Those videos are on my YouTube. You can go and listen to those or watch them now. A lot of good information in the ethical witchcraft video as well.